The arguments are over, and now they wait. This afternoon, the Michigan Supreme Court heard oral arguments that could change the auto no-fault reforms passed in 2019. Thousands of accident survivors who were catastrophically injured before 2019 want the Supreme Court to reinstate payments of their medical bills that were covered for years. 13 on your side's Andrea Flores joins us with details.
Juliet, this case will likely stretch out over several months, and a survivor and lawyer that I spoke with earlier hope to see this case go quickly in their favor to help those who need round-the-clock, expensive care.
And injured in a car accident 42 years ago, a week ago.
Mike Harold of Montague is one of about 17,000 car crash survivors who had his medical care cut by 45% by the no-fault auto insurance reforms passed nearly 4 years ago. Mike's been paralyzed for decades, and he lost his wife less than a year ago.
I don't have time to mourn the loss of my wife because I'm dealing with auto no-fault reform and trying to deal with finding caregivers and to replace her. I want to mourn the loss of my wife. I don't want to be caring about no-fault reform.
Mike's been keeping a close eye on what happens in the Michigan Supreme Court. The justices are hearing a case that will determine whether the reforms are constitutional.
People worse than I am, they're going to suffer for 6 months waiting for the Supreme Court to rule in our favor.
If the court were to rule that the Court of Appeals got it right when they said that the law is not retroactive, what that means is that people who were injured before the law changed would still have the benefits and, in a sense, the benefit of the bargain, the contract that they had before the change in the law.
The state's highest court is not deciding whether to go back to the old law that covers all no-fault car crash survivors. Instead, they're deciding whether a court of appeals ruled correctly that the reforms were unconstitutional because they changed individuals' contracts with their insurance companies that spelled out care for their injuries.
But individuals who were involved in catastrophic collisions after the change in the law would likely not see any relief from the Supreme Court's ruling, although it is possible. I think that it's unlikely.
Supporters of the reforms say that keeping the law in place means lower rates.
It was working. We saw rates coming down, and we saw the driving public receiving a $400 per vehicle refund.
Both the survivor and the lawyer we spoke with disagree with supporters, saying that the rates are not as low as insurance companies promised after the reforms passed. Juliet?
Andrea, thank you.